Welcome to the news on NTA International. I'm Lami Ali, and the sign language interpreter is Precious Osoimena. Let's take the headlines. Presidency optimistic. New tax reform laws will usher in era of fiscal growth, promote accountability in revenue generation. FRSC Co-Marshal leads special patrol on Lokoja Abuja Kaduna Highway. On the foreign scene, Australia's most populous state to introduce toughest gun laws and ban terrorist symbols following a mass shooting. The presidency has vowed that the landmark new tax reform laws that will begin operation in 2026 will usher in an era of fiscal growth, promote accountability in revenue generation, and deepen social contracts between the government and the people. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, at a press briefing to mark the end of the Gregorian calendar year 2025, says the journey of the outgoing year was one of reinforcing and strengthening foundations of national development in line with the renewed hope agenda. Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara reports.
It is 2.5 years now since Nigeria began her journey under renewed hope mantra. This briefing highlights the scorecard of the government within the outgoing year 2025, where the government spokesman acknowledged the successes of ongoing reforms that cut across security, economy, road infrastructure, agriculture, and youth empowerment.
Our gross domestic product, that's GDP, grew by 3.98% in the third quarter of 2025, demonstrating resilient and sustained expansion in the non-oil sector. Significantly, headline inflation has now declined for 8 consecutive months to stand at 14.45% in November 2025. Food inflation, as you also know, is also on a steady downward trend. Our external reserves have strengthened to approximately $44.56 billion, providing a robust buffer that stabilizes our currency and assures international investors of the seriousness of this administration to reposition its economy. Nigeria has recorded a trade surplus also in 2025 of 6.69 trillion in the third quarter of 2025. President Tinubu in 2025 has also approved the recapitalization of the Bank of Agriculture to the tune of 1.5 trillion naira. This is the biggest single boost to agricultural financing in our recent history.
Going into the new Gregorian calendar year 2026, he reaffirmed that the 58.18 trillion naira 2026 appropriation bill before the National Assembly is historic, ambitious, and focused for the good of the people.
It's the largest ever capital expenditure allocation of 26.08 trillion naira for tangible infrastructure, roads, rail, power, and ports. 26.08 trillion. It is the single biggest allocation of 5.41 trillion to defense and security, a direct investment in protecting lives through modern equipment for our armed forces, a new national intelligence architecture, and a secure digital border surveillance system.
He was emphatic that Nigeria is strengthening multilateral relationships with the international community.
Nigeria is no longer on the sidelines. We are a confident and strategic partner on the global stage, defending our national interest and attracting beneficial partnerships. President Tinubu's vision for Nigeria is big, his strategy is unambiguous, and his resolve is unshakable. We are consolidating stability. We are protecting our homeland. We are empowering our youth. We are building a nation where every citizen has the agency to thrive and to succeed in this country.
He assured that the administration will remain focused while pursuing its agenda to transform Nigeria for better. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
To security now, the remaining 130 pupils and staff of St. Mary's Catholic Church School, Papiri, Agwara local government area, have been handed over to the Niger State government, which will facilitate their reunion with their parents. The children and their teachers, who have spent 32 days in captivity, were rescued following coordinated operations of the Office of the National Security Advisor, the Department of State Security Services, and the armed forces. As the gridlock at Koton-Karfe access along Lokoja-Abuja highway persists, an appeal has been made to the federal government to order the contractors handling the road project to open up the road to ensure free flow of traffic during the Yuletide. Solomon Aideng, who has been on ground at Koton-Karfe, reports that the gridlock is far from being over at the moment.
As on the traffic situation at Koton-Karfe along Lokoja-Abuja highway remains chaotic. People are stranded and travel time lost. When they will leave this place, nobody knows.
The thing keep going up every minute, every hour.
Almost 6 hours. The journey of just 1 hour, 30 minutes.
I have an event I needed to attend like tomorrow. But now, I am unable to attend the event because of what is happening here.
Since yesterday, we day here, we never go anywhere.
Now we are even buying pure water, which we used to buy 2 for 15 naira, is now 100 naira here.
3 motor, 4 motor, they want to choke it at the same time. That is what caused this hold up. Our VIPs, let's maintain law and order. If we make this law, we should abide by it.
As commuters and drivers are complaining of loss of travel time, food vendors are smiling to the banks. How is business?
I thank God that the business is okay. Thank God that this hold up that is moving since yesterday. We really thank God. We sell overnight. No stopping.
I don't get 20,000 as his money. And some people will get more than that.
An appeal has been made by commuters and motorists alike, calling on the federal government to direct contractors to hasten up the construction activities and perhaps open up alternative routes to ensure free flow of traffic throughout this Yuletide period.
Even before now, His Excellency Governor Usman Ododo gave a directive that we worked on, that these construction companies should create more alternative routes for people to be able to pass. They try their best, but I don't think their best is good enough.
In the next few days, it will be Christmas, and if things are allowed to go on like this, many people may likely sleep on the road. Solomon Ayedehi, NTA News.
Well, now the Federal Road Safety Corps has intensified its nationwide enforcement to rid the roads of dangerous drivers and eliminate life-threatening practices on major highways as Nigerians embark on end-of-year travels. FRSC Co-Marshal Shehu Mohammed emphasized this while supervising traffic operations along Lokoja-Abuja-Kaduna, Abuja-Lokoja Highway. Uyeyemi Ajayi has details.
As expected, there is a sharp increase in vehicular movements nationwide in preparation for Yuletide. Undoubtedly, it is a busy time for the Federal Road Safety Corps. It's relentlessly working to ensure seamless movements. The commercial leading the Special Highway Patrol categorically entreated road users to be patient and cautioned drivers to avoid overloading, overspeeding and other unethical highway practices.
Directive to all sector commanders all over the Federation is to come out early, to be on those hot spots that we always have a traffic gridlock during this period. And from the report I'm getting for the past 3 days, all our marshals, our officers, our special marshals, the voluntary special marshals are all on the road, trying to calm the traffic, control the traffic, and support the passengers and all road users to be able to reach their destination. We are getting it rightly, and we'll continue to do that throughout this period up to January 15th.
More personnel have been deployed to the Abuja-Lokoja highway to ensure normalcy returns to the roads, as commanding officers have been ordered to move to the identified spots to ensure free movement across the country. Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
As Nigerians travel and prepare to celebrate the Yuletide, one issue that has often defined the season is fuel availability. For years, long queues and scarcity disrupted movements and increased costs. This year, however, there are indications of a notable improvement. Our correspondent Patricia Esamiluba reports on the fuel situation and what has changed.
Fuel availability across major streets has remained largely stable as the Yuletide season approaches, marking a departure from the persistent scarcity experienced in previous years. Findings from fuel stations show shorter queues, more consistent supply, and zero panic buying, allowing motorists and commuters to move with less disruption during the festive periods. Car owners say the improved supply has helped reduce delays and ease challenges hitherto experienced in seasons like this, acknowledging that it will support economic activities common during the holiday period.
This festival period, a lot of queue and everything, but now you go to filling station, buy your fuel, and another thing, the price is coming down gradually.
We cannot compare, but we thank God. All the years that have gone is very bad, but we appreciate now, and I hope it will be going like that.
Current administration looks like they're more focused on making it available.
While isolated challenges may still exist in some areas, the overall situation suggests a more coordinated approach to fuel management compared to past Yuletide seasons.
The fuel price has come down. I will hope it will continue like this.
Other years we are buying it and then it's just hardly before you get it. But now it's available everywhere. You can go and get your fuel.
This Yuletide season, unlike previous years marked by fuel scarcity and long queues, availability has significantly improved, a development many are attributed to policy measures by the present administration. In Abuja, Patricia Esamiluba, NTA News.
Thank you, Patricia. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, SAN, is urging adherence to international standards as Senate amends Terrorism Act Prevention and Prohibition Bill to prescribe death sentence on kidnapping, banditry and related crimes. At a public hearing on the bill, while some lawmakers pointed that punitive measures must be in place to deter would-be offenders, the minister and some stakeholders were of the view that capital punishment may not serve the purpose.
I believe we must be cautious not to adopt a policy that, while emotionally satisfying, may prove counterproductive to our ultimate goal of a safer Nigeria. From a critical perspective, or a tactical perspective, it is our view that the proposal to include the death penalty for convicted terrorists should be viewed because it inadvertently facilitates the martyrdom trap.
Terrorism addresses three critical elements. There is the ideological dimension, there is the political dimension, and the mass intimidation dimension. And any definition of terrorism that goes beyond this framework is not consistent with international global dimensions regarding this definition.
We also propose that the mandatory death penalty be replaced with a discretionary sentencing regime, including life imprisonment or death in aggravated cases.
You are at liberty as lawyers to, in the open, defend a murderer, and you go home and sleep. I, as a senator, when somebody from my constituency is killed by a kidnapper and they see the person walking freely, or he goes to court and the court asks him to go and spend 5 years, 10 years in prison, meanwhile their loved ones have been killed, our people do not understand that as justice.
This is what we're going through. We don't need a foreign country to help us. We have opportunity to help ourselves. So let us look at that and see the possibility of bringing legislations that will also aid in addressing some of these issues.
The Joint Committee on Judiciary, National Security and Intelligence, as well as Interior, Adebomire Ayodele SEN, said all submissions will be assessed on merit.
Of the sponsor of the bill, that if capital punishment is meted out to whoever is found culpable, then it will stem the tide. We have listened to the positions for and against, and as the Senate, we will go back in our own committee and read all these memoranda, consider all the points, and make our recommendations to the Senate as a body.
Made on the bill that seeks to reform legal practice in Nigeria. You're watching the news at 7 on NTA International. Time to take a break. Thank you for staying. Australia's most populous state has moved to introduce the toughest gun laws in the country and ban terrorist symbols following a mass shooting that killed 15 people at a Jewish festival in Sydney. Glory Agbo reports.
New South Wales authorities recalled Parliament on Monday to fast-track sweeping firearm and security reforms 1 week after 2 gunmen opened fire on a Hanukkah celebration at Bondi Beach. A father and son are accused of carrying out the attack, marking Australia's deadliest mass shooting in nearly 3 decades. The country observed a minute's silence on Sunday evening, exactly 1 week after the first reports of gunfire shocked the nation. New South Wales Premier Chris Means said the attack marked a turning point.
I'd give anything to go back a week, a month, 2 years to ensure that didn't happen. But we need to make sure that we take steps so that it never happens again.
Under the proposed legislation, the number of firearms an individual can own will be capped at 4 or 10 for exempted groups such as farmers. Officials say more than 1.1 million guns are currently registered in the state. The reforms also include a ban on displaying terrorist symbols. Authorities will also gain new powers to prohibit public protests for up to 3 months following a terrorism incident. One of the suspects, 50-year-old Sadiq Akram, was shot dead by police during the attack. His son, 24-year-old Naveed Akram, an Australian-born citizen, remains in hospital under police guard and faces multiple charges, including terrorism and 15 counts of murder. Premier Means said the state would also consider tighter hate speech laws next year. At the federal level, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has announced a major gun buyback scheme, the largest since 1996, when Australia overhauled its gun laws following the Port Arthur massacre. The Prime Minister has also apologized to Australia's Jewish community, calling for bipartisan support as the government pushes ahead with reforms targeting hate speech, extremism, and gun ownership. In another development, emergency crews are battling fires in southern Ukraine after overnight strikes hit the Odessa region, causing damage to energy infrastructure and commercial buildings. Images released by Ukraine's state emergency services show firefighters working through the night to extinguish multiple blazes across the Odessa region. Officials say the strikes damaged energy infrastructure in the city and surrounding areas, raising concerns about power supplies. Warehouses storing fertilizer and agricultural machinery were also hit. According to emergency services, 1 person was injured in the attacks. Fire crew remains on site, assessing damage and working to prevent further outbreaks as authorities continue to monitor the situation. Glory Agbo, NTA News.
Southeast Asian foreign ministers are meeting in Malaysia for emergency talks aimed at stopping deadly border clashes between Thailand and Cambodia, as fighting continues despite regional and international diplomatic efforts. Again, Glory Agbo reports.
Foreign ministers from the Association of Southeast Asian Nations gathered in Kuala Lumpur on Monday to address the escalating conflict between Thailand and Cambodia. The talks come as renewed fighting along the two countries' shared border has shattered a previous truce and left at least 43 people dead on both sides. According to officials, more than 900 people have been displaced. Thailand's foreign minister announced that the two sides had agreed to hold bilateral talks later this week under an existing border community framework. However, just hours after the ASEAN meeting, Cambodia accused Thailand of launching airstrikes in its territory. Thailand's military said its air force responded after Cambodia fired rockets into Thai territory. Despite the exchange of fire, Cambodia's interior minister said it remains optimistic about reaching a ceasefire, while Thailand cautioned that any truce must be demonstrated through actions, not announcements. Malaysia, the current chair of ASEAN, urged both sides to give urgent attention to the crisis, warning of wider consequences for civilians across the region. The conflict stems from a long-running territorial dispute over parts of the colonial-era border and ancient temple sites along the frontier. Regional and international partners, including the United States and China, have called for an immediate ceasefire as ASEAN continues efforts to bring both sides back to the negotiating table. Glory Agbo, NTA News.
The United World Congress of Diplomats, UNWCD, is collaborating with the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation to advance Nigeria's role in global diplomatic space. The synergy was cemented at an engagement where issues of multilateral collaboration that aligns national priorities with global frameworks were discussed. How the collaboration can unlock foreign investments and drive technological development for Nigeria was also top on the agenda, as well as using national budget to tied to specific development priorities and youth development. A task force to work with the UNWCD in implementing the areas of collaboration was subsequently inaugurated.
All the agencies present here today are already co-opted as member of the task force, while other relevant agencies that are not here will be contacted online accordingly.
Power to finance most of their infrastructural projects in some member states, and at the moment, both jointly with them were operating about 134 countries.
Our duty is and what we have to deliver for the Nigerian government.
The joy of the season was written all over the faces of wives of military and paramilitary officers in Osun State as the PBAT ideological group empowered them as a show of support for the policies and programs of the Tinubu administration. Kayode Oladosu reports that the event was held in Osogbo, Osun State capital.
It simply was another gathering of wives of military and paramilitary personnel in Osun State, united not just by service but by support. Over 1,000 women received food items including bags of rice, semovita, spaghetti, yams and other essentials aimed at easing the burden of the Yuletide season.
It's about the support to broadcast his exceptional ability in governance and how he had been able to turn things around.
Mrs. Gloria Luka, leader of the Wives of Military and Paramilitary Association, praised the initiative and applauded President Tinubu's reforms, noting that such support directly impacts the welfare of women and families.
He said it and he do it to empower women in terms of medical, money, giving them loan, and palliative.
It is good to give. If you have, you empower the women, you empower the widow, empower the less privileged.
Also excited for the gift that he gave to us.
There is so much problem. In fact, to the grassroots, Baba have located them.
The BAT ideological group assured beneficiaries that The initiative would be sustained as a contribution to social stability and grassroots development. In Oshogbo, Kayode Oladushu, NTA News.
The federal government has declared December 25th and 26th, 2025, as well as January 1st, 2026, public holidays to mark Christmas, Boxing Day and the New Year celebrations. A statement by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Interior, Dr. Magdalene Ajani, indicates that the declaration was made on behalf of the federal government by the Minister Olubunmi Tunjojo. The minister calls for reflection on the values of love, peace, humility and sacrifice associated with the birth of Jesus Christ. He also calls on Nigerians, regardless of faith or ethnicity, to use the festive season to pray for peace, security and national progress. Tunjojo further urges citizens to remain law-abiding and security-conscious during these celebrations, while wishing Nigerians a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year. And that does it on the news at this time on NTA International. The sign language interpreter has been Precious Osamina. And I'm Lami Ali saying, see you on the other side of Christmas.